And so today we are going to deal with forensic odontology, and let it be a interactive session. So you can just on your chat box in the side, and you can just leave me the message over there. And can I share the my screen?
Sure.
Okay, is this visible?
Yes, visible. Visible.
Okay, so how many of you know what is forensic odontology? Can anyone say? Yes or no? Just be a yes or no option. Just be yes or no. Okay, I can't see the chat box. Okay. No is a very common answer, but it's not so surprising to me because as the survey made by a study where the 200 lawyers were taken into the study, where it was ranging from different ages and different departments in law. So in that, only 40 years of experience were more aware of palette Ruge analysis. So what is palette Ruge analysis? Let's come afterwards. But basically, only the 40 years plus experienced lawyers know about in depth of the forensic odontology. And if they are about 20 years of experience, they know about lip print and bite mark analysis. And other than that, only lawyers who are dealing with criminal cases or civil cases know better than other lawyers. So when it comes to fresher, they know only the laws of fracture of the tooth consist of grievous injury under Indian Penal Code 320 clue 75. Okay, so it's not so surprising for me, and it's not a big deal. So now we are going to know it, and you can just use it for your cases also. So basically, what is law of individuality is every individual, natural or man-made, has a distinct quality or characteristic which is not duplicated in any other form. The most distinct character associated with the law of individuality is fingerprints, and after fingerprints, it comes the tooth, dental arrangement, and dental all dental things become the um, individuality whereafter fingerprint. So these are taken under judgmental role in forensic sciences. So when it comes to forensic odontology, what all can be covered is we can identify unknown human remains through dental records and craniofacial bones, and we can estimate the age of the person who is unknown or non-identical, and recognition and analysis of bite marks found on victims. Through bite marks, we can find the criminals, and analysis of orofacial trauma associated with person abuse. So we can just analyze the orofacial traumas and conclude with whether it is a accident or hit and run, or it is a fight between two people or something else. So and determining the gender, even through dental odontology, we can find the gender differentiation, and that helps in the easy identification of the individual. And after that, we can just analyze of the dental malpractice claims. If someone is claiming against a dentist, we can just use all these dental records and all those stuff for the uh, malpractice claims. And when it comes to tooth, why the tooth becomes more useful for our identification is the tooth is stable and durable, because the tooth is the only structure which can withstand up to 1600 degrees Celsius also. And there is a example also at the end. I will let you know the example. So initially, the basic thing is tooth can withstand any temperature, and they can withstand the DNAs also, and through that we can identify the individual even if it is a burnt case. So what is the uniqueness between the tooth in between the individuals is the size, because if it is a young child or if we are getting only the mandible or maxillary only, and the other parts are missing, we can just identify with the size whether it is a adult's mandible or maxilla or jaw. It's adult's jaw or a kid's jaw, and we can even differentiate between the age, and we can find the age of the child whose jaw it is, and by the size we can determine the differentiation between the genders also. And when it comes to shape, each individual have a different shape. When the arch comes, it will not be typical arch for everyone. The arch shape will differ from each individual, where some will have spacing between the tooth, some will have a bigger jaw and a smaller tooth, and some will have a smaller jaw and a bigger tooth. All these differentiation will help in the identification of the individual. And when it comes to pattern, the pattern also changes from each individual. And when it comes to repair, when an individual goes with diamond plated tooth crown or even jewels they are using, and when it comes to root canal treatment, each individual have a different root canal treatment done. So with that records, we can identify the individual easily. So DNA, as I said, since tooth can resist extreme conditions, it is an excellent source of DNA. So even the individual is highly burnt, and only few things are remaining for us to identify the individual to give back them the uh, to their family members. We can easily identify through the tooth, as they can withstand the DNA. And when we get the DNA, how to identify a individual is, it helps to compare with the antmortem of the person, such as hair. Okay, what is antmortem basically? Do anyone know what is antmortem? So that I will explain you. Can I get any response in the chat box or in the audio?
No idea, ma'am.
Okay. So we all know postmortem, right? Postmortem is something which is done after the death of a person. So one thing, the person will be dead, and they will cross open the body of the dead person, and they use the remains of the body to find whether they have taken a poison or they have taken some food particle which may be containing a poison or which is poisonous, and whether it is a road traffic accident or whether it is a hit and run or whether it is a fighting between a two-person and what causes the death and all. So when it comes to antmortem is something which we are going to search other than postmortem. Postmortem, which we have already with us, and which is a process of doctor to identify what it is inside. When it comes to antmortem is something where we have to search for the uh, search for the um, records regarding the individual. Something like hair, the hair remains in the comb. That hair has a DNA particles, and that will help to identify whether the individual is matching with the DNA what we have found in the tooth. And if it is a brush, also in brush we will have the epithelial cells. Even in that we have the DNA, and that DNA will help in identifying a person uh, whose tooth we are looking for in the DNA. And these hair and nail or the epithelial cells from the brush, all these things will are called as antmortem. If the antmortem is we cannot find any antmortem, then there comes the DNA comparison with their family members. We have to take the specimen from the family members, and we have to cross-examine with the DNA what we have got from the tooth. So when it comes to antmortem, not only the hair or epithelial cells, it also includes the uh, autopsy and biopsy, what they have done before and which are stored in the hospitals are also useful for the DNA purpose. Are you clear with the antemortem? Yeah, okay. So when it comes to palatal rouge. So what is palatal rouge basically is, we all know what is palate, right? Which is here. We can just touch and see. If you put your thumb inside your mouth, the above part, you can feel the ups and downs in it. When you rub in it, we can feel the ups and downs in the palatal region. So that ups and downs are called as rouge. And that rouge also, they have a different patterns which differs from individual to individual. So when that happens, we can just take if we have only the maxilla and no other thing is remaining, we can just take a impression of the person and just compare with the initial dental records. So that will help in identifying an individual. When it comes to criminal identification, when they have a bite mark or something, these rouges will help us to find along with the tooth marks. And rouge, when mainly it comes in place when the maxilla or the mandible, the upper jaw or lower jaw is edentulous, that is, they don't have any tooth. They are totally without tooth, and the person does not have any tooth. At that time they'll be wearing a denture. That is a what you say in Tamil they called as pulset, right? That pulset will help us to identify the individual. So if even then we are not getting the denture around the crime place, we can ask for the denture with the family members and get the denture with them and compare the rouge placement, and we can find the individual. So this is mainly used for the old age people, and the records will be in the dental office also if we are not getting it in from the family members. So dental profiling is, each individual will have a different dental profiling. So when you see from side and this side, each individual will differ from each other. The arrangement of the mandible or placement of the eyes, and the everything has a calculation. So that calculation will be easier to find out by a professional dental forensic dental dentist. So from that we can easily find out the ethnic origin and gender differentiation and age differentiation. So where this comes to in place is when we are searching in a chart of names where we have age and gender and name, and we can just segregate them according to the gender and age. If we are getting to know the gender, we can just pick all the genders separately, like boys separately and girls separately, and we can, if it is a girl specimen, then we can just search along with the girls alone. And if we got the age also, we can just segregate along with the age, and just the investigation and the process is much more simplified when we are doing a dental profiling. So is this understood? Can you understand what I'm speaking, or it's too complicated? Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. So now it's bite mark. So bite mark, when it comes to bite mark, it's not only confined to a humans or only confined to a children. It is confined to a animals also, human and animals, and whatever it is. When we are getting a bite mark in a victim's hand, we can just identify the shape of the tooth and the arrangement of the tooth, and we can determine the age of the person. And sometimes you can also identify the gender of the person. So even this bite mark can determine all these stuff, and this helps in the identification of the criminal. So these are mainly used when it is comes to uh, violent crimes such as homicides or sexual assault, child abuse, domestic violence, etc. And it is not only on the skin but also Okay. It is not only confined to a humans, it is also confined to animals, as I said. And animals also have a particular bite mark where each animal has a different dental arrangement, and that helps in the identification of which animal has caused this violent thing. So if someone is dead because of a bite mark, and that bite mark we can just confine with the animals, which animal is going to cause the death. And it is not only on the tissues, it also can be like food items or any other objects. If it is a crime place, we are not supposed to look only on the victim. We are supposed to look all around the victim's place, right? So when it comes in that way, we have a, if we have an apple bitten there, or we have a bread bitten, or if we have any other objects to be bitten hard, all those things also we can find the bite marks, and we can identify whether it is a male or a female, and age and all we can segregate, and we can find out the individual. It is easier to find out the individual. So basically when it comes to domestic violence or something like that, when two people are hitting each other, they mainly catch the hands to stop the hit. So when they catch the hands, automatically your mouth will act or react to it, so automatically you will start biting them. At that time, the most of the bite marks will be on the finger or hand. So if it is sexual assaultment or child abuse, it is going to be around the neck or head or face, or any around of the body. So finally, the lip print. Lip print is not so popular before, but now it is, they are just adding up the lip print also. And this technique is called as chilioscopy, is a forensic investigation technique where they deals with the identification of the human based on the lip traces. So even each lip print which has a wrinkles, right, they also differs with person to person. And in the past decade, lip prints studies attracted to the attention of many scientists as a new tool of human identification in both civil and criminal cases. So these are some examples where solving the burnt mystery of Adolf Hitler. So on April 30th, 1945, just 2 days before the closing of the war, we had a suicide committed by the Hitler and his wife. And Russian force, what they did, they just burnt Hitler's body and his wife's body. And after some time, they just got the only the mandible and the remaining of the skull alone. All other parts got burnt out. So with that mandible and skull, what they did, they are not able to find out whether it is a Hitler's body or some other's body. So they just kept it as it is. This happened in 1945. After 23 years, what they did, the forensic odontology took the bone out, and what they did, they found a denture, that is the connecting tooth, which is an artificial tooth, which is given for the Hitler. They just got that. With that bridge, they found that it's a Hitler by getting the details from the Hitler's dentist. So with this, by this example, what you can find is even the crown or even the maxilla or mandible alone can identify a person. So the next thing is notorious bite marks. So in 1970s, a serial killer was there. What he did was he started raping and killing all the women. Finally, where he got caught is with Lisa Levy and Martha Brownon, where the in Lisa Levy alone they got a clue of bite mark. They had no idea how to find it, and what they did, they started taking impression of suspects. There will be few suspects, right? All those suspects were made to take a dental impression, and from that they found the bite mark to be matched with this Teddy Bendy, and he got sentenced to death. So even a bite mark can act as a important witness for a case to be solved. So the final one is John Wayne Gacy, where he is also a serial killer. But this case, he got somewhat like 33 people to be dead and buried near his house, and no one found it. And after that, they got suspicious on Gacy, and what they did is they started uh, searching around his house, and finally they found the bodies, but it was totally decomposed, and they had only few remains over there. So with that, and with the help of forensic odontology, they have found up to 23 individuals from the positive identity from the dental records. So this is also helps in the identification of the human body. So that's it. Anyone have any questions? Any questions or any doubt?
Nobody is there, ma'am.
Okay. So, are you clear with the concept,
Okay, ma'am.
or is that briefly
Yeah,
explained?
ma'am.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
ma'am. It was clear. So clear. So thank you for spending your valuable time in informing us,
Thank
informating
you.
us. So thank you so much.